The office smelled like burnt coffee and victory that night. We'd just hit our first million in profit, and I thought that meant forever. Lena leaned back on the couch, swirling her wine. We actually did it, Ethan, I smiled. We did. I told you, no one could build this but us. She laughed, soft and tired. You sound like a commercial. Maybe because I've been awake for 30 hours straight. Still worth it? Every second, I said. As long as you're here. She didn't answer right away. Her eyes wandered to the window, to the city lights she loved more than sleep. I reached over, brushing her hand. Hey, you okay? Yeah, she said quickly. Just thinking about how fragile success is, I chuckled. Not tonight, philosopher. We built this from scratch. No one can take that from us, she smiled faintly. You really believe that, don't you? I do, she stood, finishing her drink. Then promise me something. Anything. If this ever falls apart, don't hate me for leaving first. The words hit harder than they should have. What does that even mean? Nothing, she said with a laugh that wasn't real. Just tired talk. Lena, let it go, Ethan. So I did. Stupidly. Because love makes you ignore red flags when they're painted gold. The next morning, the office was quiet. Too quiet. Her desk was empty. Her favorite mug, gone. The lavender perfume she wore like armor, faded. And there it was. A white envelope on my keyboard. I tore it open. Don't wait for me. That was all. 3 words that detonated everything I thought I knew. Lena? I called her name out loud, like she might answer from thin air. Lena! Nothing. I checked her phone, disconnected. Her apartment, empty. Even her digital signature on our company server, revoked. I stood in the middle of the office, the hum of machines louder than my heartbeat. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Hey, he said cautiously. You at the office? Yeah. You should sit down. I'm already sitting in the wreckage of my life, Marcus. Go ahead, he hesitated. She sold her shares, I laughed. It came out cracked. To who? Victor Ross. The name dropped like acid. Victor? The same guy she swore she'd never work with? Contracts were signed at 8 this morning. She can't just... I stopped myself. No, she wouldn't. I saw the paperwork myself, Ethan. I stared at the empty couch where she'd been hours ago. She used my designs. My prototypes. Our company, Marcus sighed. I know. How long did she plan this? Does it matter? It does to me, I said. Because I was building a future while she was building an exit. Ethan, listen. No, I snapped. You listen. You told me to trust her. You said she loved me? She did, Marcus said softly. Just not enough. I dropped the phone and sat on the floor. My reflection stared back from the glass table. Same man, new scars. Hours passed. The office emptied. The cleaning lady peeked in. Mr. Cole? You're still here? Yeah, I muttered. Just finishing up, she smiled gently. You built something beautiful. Don't ruin it by bleeding on it. I almost laughed. Too late. She left and I turned off the lights. Darkness made it easier to lie to myself. I whispered into the silence. You promised me forever. The echo didn't argue. By midnight, I was drunk on memories. The sound of her laugh. The way she used to doodle on our whiteboard when she was nervous. The night we stayed up redesigning the prototype because she said it wasn't perfect yet. Perfect. That's what she always wanted. Maybe that's why she left. Marcus called again. I answered this time. You need to leave that office, he said. Why? Because sitting in ghosts doesn't bring people back. I'm not waiting for her. Then what are you doing? Trying to remember where love ended and business began. He was quiet for a long moment. You'll make something better, Ethan. I already did, I said bitterly. And she sold it. Don't turn this into revenge. Revenge? I laughed. No, I'm past that, he sighed. You're lying. Probably. I wandered through the building. Every hallway felt smaller, every wall heavier. Her photos still hung on the main display, smiling beside me during our first investor pitch. I touched the frame. You won, Lena. You got your freedom. Your money. Your victory speech. Outside, rain started falling against the windows. It blurred the city lights until everything looked like melting gold. I whispered, was any of it real? My reflection in the glass looked back at me. hollow-eyed, exhausted, and still hoping for an answer that would never come. At dawn, I went to the roof. The city stretched beneath me like a map of mistakes, Marcus called again. I picked up. "Ethan," he said, "go home. Home's gone. Then start building a new one." "How do I start over when half of me's missing?" "You don't," he said. "You start with what's left." I closed my eyes. She said she'd never leave. She left everything, Ethan, even herself. I almost smiled. "You always did know how to hurt me with wisdom," he sighed. "You'll thank me later." I doubt it. "Call me when you sober up." The line cut. I stayed on the roof, watching the sunrise stain the sky gold, the same color as the dreams we built together, the same color as the betrayal that ended them. I said softly, "You turned love into gold. Lena, congratulations. I hope it shines long enough to blind you from what you lost." And for the first time since she left, I felt something other than pain. Not peace, not yet, but something close, like the crack of dawn after a long night. Silence has weight. It sits on your chest, presses against your throat, and makes breathing sound like guilt. 3 months. That's how long it had been since Lena left. 3 months since I learned what betrayal sounded like. Quiet. Marcus called almost every day. I stopped answering after week 2. He still texted. "Eat something. Go outside. Call your sister." I didn't. I lived on black coffee and memory. The office kept running without me, proof that I was replaceable in more ways than one. One night, Marcus showed up at my apartment. I didn't bother getting off the couch. "You look like hell," he said, stepping over takeout boxes. "Good," I muttered. "Matches how I feel." He tossed a newspaper onto the table. Lena's face stared back, smiling beside Victor Ross at a product launch. The headline read, "Heart Technologies reimagines the future of design." Marcus folded his arms. "You can't keep reading about her." "I didn't buy that," I said. "The world just won't stop showing me." "She's gone, Ethan." I looked up. "You think I don't know that? Then stop acting like she's still here." "She is," I said quietly. "Everywhere," he sighed, dropping onto the chair across from me. "You're building a shrine out of your own misery." I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "I built her fortune. Guess I can build her mythology too." "This isn't funny. It's not supposed to be." Marcus rubbed his temples. "You're not eating. You're not sleeping. You're tracking her like a man studying his own execution." "I just want to know how far she'll fall," I said. He stared at me. "You think revenge will fix what's broken?" "I think it's the only thing that feels like breathing." He stood. "You need help." "I need silence." He left, slamming the door hard enough to shake the walls. For a moment, I thought about calling him back. Then I saw Lena's face again, frozen in that glossy photo, smiling at a man who wasn't me, and decided silence was safer. Days blended. Mornings, nights, same thing. Sometimes I'd open my laptop just to watch her interviews. "Ethan Cole was a great mentor," she said once. "But people change," I laughed bitterly. "People don't change. They just stop pretending." I replayed that clip until my laptop battery died. One morning, Hannah called. "My sister." "Ethan," she said, "you sound dead." "I'm not dead. Not yet." "Thanks for the optimism." "I'm serious," she said. "You need to move, breathe, do something." "I'm busy." "With what?" "Watching the news," she groaned. "Do you hear yourself? You're obsessed." "Don't use that word." "Then give me another one." "Focus." "Focus on what, Ethan? On her? On the man who stole her? You're letting her live rent-free in your head." I smiled without humor. "It's a big house. Then evict her," she said. "Before you forget what living feels like." I didn't answer. She hung up, angry tears audible in her voice. That night, I went for a walk. The city didn't care about my grief. It glowed anyway. A neon sign outside a small chapel flickered open late. I walked in. The air smelled of old wood and quiet faith. A man sat near the altar, head bowed. When he looked up, I recognized him, Reverend Paul. He smiled faintly. "You look lost, son. Am I that obvious?" He gestured to the pew. Sit, I did. After a pause, he said, You've been carrying something heavy. Something? I said, More like someone. He said softly. The kind of ghost that walks without dying. I stared at the floor. She took everything. My company, my trust. My reason to wake up. And you still wake up, he said. So there's still reason. I wake up to spite her. Spite is still life, he said with a chuckle. Ugly but alive. I'm not here for sermons. Good, he said. I don't give them to people who already know the words. Then what are you giving me? Perspective. I looked at him. You think I can forgive her? He smiled. I think forgiveness isn't for her. It's for you. I'm not ready for that. Then stop chasing her ghost until you are. I'm not chasing her. He raised an eyebrow. Then why do I hear her name more than yours? I looked away. Because she's the reason I'm like this. No, he said. She's the excuse. The reason is, you don't know what to do with the silence she left behind. That hit harder than I wanted it to. He stood, adjusting his coat. If you chase ghosts, you'll miss your resurrection. I frowned. What if resurrection isn't real? He smiled sadly. Then maybe you'll invent it. When I got home, I turned on the lights for the first time in weeks. Dust floated through the air. Proof that life still existed. Even when I didn't want it to. I opened my laptop again. Not to watch her interviews this time, but to erase them. One by one, I deleted every file, every saved photo, every memory she hadn't earned the right to keep living in. It hurt like surgery without anesthesia. When it was done, the screen went black. I whispered, if this is resurrection, it better be worth it. Outside, dawn was breaking, the kind of light that didn't ask permission to enter. For the first time in months, I didn't feel haunted. Just hollow, and maybe hollow was a start. 2 years can turn wounds into weapons. Mine had healed into something sharper, calm. The night of the charity gala smelled like champagne and money. I hated both, but my name was on the sponsor list, so there I was, trapped in a tux that cost less than one of my regrets. Marcus clapped my shoulder. You clean up well, Cole. I'm here for business, not compliments, he smirked. Business is about appearance. Don't pretend you don't know that. I built this company on results, not suits. And yet, he said, you're wearing one. I was about to reply when the room shifted, like every breath got stuck in the same throat. Lena Hart had entered. Red dress. Cold smile. Confidence painted on like armor. I felt nothing. Not rage. Not love, just silence. Marcus followed my gaze. Oh, damn. She still knows how to make an entrance, I said. He muttered. You sure you're ready for this? I've been ready since the day she left. She spotted me. Her lips parted in shock, then curved into something softer. She started walking over. Marcus whispered, don't make a scene. Who said I would? I smiled. The show's hers. Ethan, she said, her voice honey over steel. I almost didn't recognize you. I turned, pretending surprise. Lena Hart, you're still alive, she laughed lightly. Still as dramatic as ever. Just accurate, I said. You look different. Success will do that, I said. Some people age, others evolve. Her smile faltered for half a second before recovering. I've heard things about you. New company, new empire. I heard things about you too, I said. Somehow not as impressive, she blinked. You've kept tabs on me? I smirked. Let's call it market research. She chuckled, but her eyes tightened. Victor and I had creative differences. That's one way to say bankruptcy. Her voice dropped. You always were cruel when you felt hurt. I'm not hurt, I said. Just observant, she tilted her head. You don't seem angry. I was, I said. But anger's expensive. I prefer profit. Her gaze lingered. You've changed. Isn't that what you wanted? She looked around at the crowd. You seem to be doing well. I'm happy for you. Liar, her jaw tightened. I came to make peace. You came to measure what you lost. You think you're so untouchable now? She snapped. I don't think, I said. I know, she exhaled, steadying herself. You still love talking in riddles. I learned from the best. She smiled again, softer this time. I did love you, Ethan. I met her gaze. You loved what I could become. That's not fair. Neither were you. Her laughter cracked slightly. You haven't lost your edge. I sharpened it on betrayal. She looked at my drink. Are you always this poetic at parties? Only when ghosts visit, her eyes flashed. You think I'm a ghost? I think you're an echo, I said. Loud but fading. She stared at me, searching for the man she used to manipulate. He wasn't there anymore. Finally, she said, maybe we could start over. Over what? I asked. The ashes? You don't have to forgive me, but I already did, I interrupted. The day I stopped caring, that one landed. She blinked fast, pretending something was in her eye. I made mistakes, she said quietly. Victor promised me everything. He said I didn't need you. He was half right. She looked down. He used me. Just like you used me. I was scared, she said. You were changing too fast. I didn't want to be left behind. So you left first, I said. Efficient. You think this is funny? I think it's karma. A voice behind me broke the tension. Ethan! I turned. Clara was walking toward us, glowing in a simple black dress. Grace without effort. Lena's expression shifted instantly. Curiosity, maybe jealousy. Clara smiled. I've been looking for you everywhere. Sorry, I said. Got caught in a history lesson. Clara's eyes flicked to Lena. Old friend? Old business partner, Lena said before I could. We built something once. Then it must have been something beautiful, Clara said, shaking her hand politely. Lena smiled, brittle and forced. It was. I placed a hand on Clara's back. This is Clara Hale, I said. She runs Hale Creative, our newest acquisition. Lena's eyes widened. You bought her company? Partnership, Clara corrected. Ethan doesn't own people. He builds with them. Lena's smile faltered again. You've learned well. I had a good teacher, I said, looking right at her. Clara excused herself to greet a client, leaving Lena and me in silence again. She's different, Lena said quietly. Not your type. She's the type that stays. Lena's eyes glistened, but she hid it behind another sip of champagne. You must hate me. I don't hate you, I said. You taught me value, how to lose everything and still come out richer. That sounds like hate. No, I said. That's gratitude, she shook her head. You always did know how to win. I just learned when not to lose. Her voice softened. Maybe someday you'll see I didn't mean to hurt you. Maybe someday you'll see that's exactly why you did. The gala lights dimmed. Applause rippled through the room as the auction began. I excused myself and walked to the balcony. The city stretched beneath me, gold and glass, just like before. Behind me, Lena's voice came one last time. You look happy. I am. How? She asked. After everything? Because I stopped needing to be understood by people who don't deserve the truth. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, almost gently, Goodbye, Ethan. I turned slightly. Goodbye, Lena. She left. This time I didn't chase. Marcus appeared beside me, holding 2 glasses. You handled that better than I expected. Revenge isn't about anger, I said. It's about balance, he raised a brow. And are you balanced now? I looked out over the city, my city, and smiled. More than ever. They say power changes you. I think betrayal just removes the filter. For weeks after the gala, Lena kept appearing, at meetings, events, even at the coffee shop I never told her about. Each time, her smile looked more rehearsed. Each time, I smiled back like I'd forgotten who she was. It was easy to play nice when you were holding all the cards. Ethan, she said one morning, walking into my office like it was still hers. You've been ignoring my calls. I've been busy, she tilted her head. Too busy to talk about a partnership? I leaned back, pretending interest. Partnership? Between your ashes and my empire? She forced a laugh. Between experience and opportunity, I raised a brow. Yours being? Her eyes flickered. My name still has value. Not as much as it used to, I said. But I'm listening, she smiled faintly. You always were generous. I studied her face, confident on the surface, cracks underneath. The hunger in her voice wasn't love or nostalgia. It was survival. Fine, I said finally. Let's talk about second chances. Her lips parted slightly, surprised. You'd really consider it? I'm a businessman, I said. Forgiveness is good PR. Later that night, Clara found me in the study, staring at my laptop. "You're quiet again," she said. "I'm working." She crossed her arms. "On what? Because you've been different since that gala." I didn't look up. "Just strategy. Strategy," she repeated. "Or revenge," I paused. "What makes you think it's revenge?" "Because I know that look," she said. "It's the same one you had when you lost everything." I met her eyes. "This isn't about her," she stepped closer. "Then why is her name in your inbox?" I sighed. "It's business, Clara. A deal that could expose Victor's corruption." Her voice softened. "And Lena?" "She's bait," I said. Her face fell. "You're using her?" I hesitated. "She used me first." "That's not an answer. I'm just returning the lesson," I said quietly. She shook her head. "You think justice makes you clean?" "It doesn't. Then what does?" I asked, walking away. "I tried that," I said. "Didn't work." She turned to leave. "Then I hope the victory's worth what it costs you." The next morning, Lena arrived for our first meeting. Marcus watched from across the office, whispering, "You sure about this?" "No," I said. "But that's the fun part." She sat down, crossing her legs like she was still in control. "I drafted a proposal," she said. "We can rebuild Heart Technologies under your brand." "Meaning I take the risk and you take the credit?" "Meaning we win together," she said. I smiled. "You always were good at saying we when you meant me." She leaned forward. "You're mocking me." "Just reminiscing. I know I hurt you." "Don't flatter yourself," I said. "You didn't hurt me. You educated me," she blinked. "Then let me prove I've changed." "You want redemption?" I asked. She nodded slowly. "Then you'll help me bring down Victor Ross." Her breath hitched. "What?" "Your old partner's been siphoning money through shell accounts. I just need a few internal records, the ones only you can access." Her hesitation lasted 5 seconds. "If I help you, what do I get?" "Public forgiveness," I said. "And maybe a second chance at relevance," she smiled. "Deal." Over the next 2 weeks, we worked together. She brought documents. I brought charm. She thought she was manipulating me again. I let her think that. At night, I'd send encrypted files to a contact in the press. Every lie Victor ever buried, every false audit Lena helped sign. Marcus warned me, "You're walking a tightrope, man. One wrong move and she'll burn you again," I smiled. "That's why I'm holding the match." Still, something inside me itched. Not doubt, but fatigue. Revenge used to feel sharp. Now it just felt heavy. One evening, Lena came to my penthouse unannounced. "I got everything," she said, placing a flash drive on my desk. "Victor's done." I stared at it. "That's fast." "You underestimate me." "Never," I said. "Just know the cost of winning." She looked at me carefully. "You sound like someone who's lost more than he's gained." "Maybe," I said. "But at least I learned how to lose properly." She smiled faintly. "You haven't changed, Ethan." "Then you haven't been paying attention." Later, Clara came in while I was copying the files. "So it's true," she said softly. "You're using her." I didn't look up. "It's not personal. It always is." "She destroyed my life," I said. "I'm just collecting the debt." "She already looks destroyed," Clara said. "You just don't want to see it." "I see it," I said. "I just don't care." "You do," she said. "Or you wouldn't be shaking." I stopped typing. My hands were trembling. She was right. Clara stepped closer. "You think you're punishing her, but you're becoming her." I met her eyes. "Maybe that's the price of closure," she whispered. "Then I hope you like living in her skin." 2 nights later, the story broke. Victor Ross under investigation for fraud and embezzlement. The article included leaked internal files, courtesy of Lena Hart. Watched her face on the morning news and panic hidden behind practiced grace. Marcus called. "It's done. Victor's finished." "Good," I said. "You don't sound happy." "I'm not sure I'm supposed to." That evening, Lena showed up again. "No makeup, no armor." "You leaked it," she said. "You helped," I replied. "You used me. You offered." Her eyes filled. "I trusted you." "Funny," I said quietly. "That's what I said last time." She stepped closer. "You can't win like this, Ethan. You'll lose yourself." "Maybe I already did," I said. She shook her head and left without another word. When the door closed, I sat in the dark, staring at my reflection in the window. For a moment, I couldn't tell who I was looking at, the man she broke, or the man she created. Clara's words echoed in my mind. You're becoming her? Maybe she was right, but I wasn't done yet. There's a strange peace in watching someone else's world burn, especially when it looks like yours used to. Lena's empire collapsed in a single day. The headlines hit like thunder. Victor Ross accused of fraud. Heart Technologies declares bankruptcy. I didn't smile. I just watched. Marcus walked into my office holding his phone. You've seen it, right? Every headline, I said. He whistled. Guess karma doesn't use email. It just arrives. She always liked dramatic endings. Don't tell me you're feeling sorry for her, he said. I didn't answer. Marcus studied me. You planned this. Don't act surprised. I didn't plan that, I said. Victor did. Still poetic, though, he said. She used him to climb and he used her to fall. I looked out the window. That's business. That's revenge, he corrected. I didn't argue. That night, it rained like the world was washing something off itself. Around midnight, the intercom buzzed. Sir, my assistant said, there's a woman downstairs. She says it's urgent. Name? She won't give it. I already knew. When the elevator doors opened, Lena stood there, drenched, shaking, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. Ethan, she said, voice trembling. Please, I leaned against the frame. You look familiar, she flinched. Don't! What are you doing here? I had nowhere else to go, she whispered. That's new, I said. You always had somewhere better. She took a step forward. I made a mistake. Just one. Please, she said. Victor took everything. My accounts, my patents, my name. I tilted my head. He learned from the best. Her breath hitched. You don't mean that. I do. Tears gathered in her eyes. I didn't deserve this. I walked past her and poured a drink. Neither did I. She turned desperate. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I'm paying for it now. Isn't that enough? No, I said. It's appropriate. Her voice cracked. You can't hate me forever, I met her gaze. Who said I hate you? She froze. Hate takes effort, I said. You're not worth that much energy anymore. She shook her head. You don't mean that. I do, I said calmly. You taught me how to survive this. She stared at me, stunned. Then she whispered, I loved you once. You loved what I could give you. That's not fair. It's true. She took a shaky breath. Can you forgive me? Already did, I said. The day I stopped hoping you'd apologize. Her lip trembled. Please, Ethan, I'm ruined. You were ruined long before tonight, I said quietly. She stepped closer. Help me and I'll make it right. How? I asked. By leaving again when it's convenient? No, she said. By staying? I almost laughed. You stayed the first time, until you didn't. Her eyes filled again. I don't know who I am without you. Then maybe it's time you find out. The door opened behind us. Clara stood there, frozen, watching. Clara, I said, startled. She looked between us. So this is what you've been hiding. Lena turned away, wiping her face. I didn't mean to intrude. Clara's voice was soft but sharp. You did that years ago, didn't you? Lena flinched. Clara, I began. This isn't what it looks like. She raised an eyebrow. Then tell me what it is. It's closure, I said. She studied me. No, it's addiction. I'm not addicted. You are, she said, to her pain. To yours, Lena whispered. He doesn't care about me. Clara shot her a look. That's the problem. He doesn't care about anything anymore. I took a step forward. Clara, don't what? She said. Don't tell you the truth? This isn't your fight, she laughed bitterly. It stopped being a fight when you started enjoying it. I'm not enjoying this. Then why are you smiling? She asked. I froze. I hadn't realized I was. Clara's voice softened. You think revenge makes you free, but it's just another chain. You can't heal by reopening scars. Clara, she shook her head. I loved you for the man who built things, not for the man who tears them down. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. Goodbye, Ethan. She left. The door clicked shut like a final sentence. Lena exhaled shakily. She's right, you know. I didn't answer. You got what you wanted, she said. You watched me fall. Does it help? No, I said. It just ends. She stepped closer. I'm sorry, I looked at her. So am I. For what? She whispered. Forever believing you'd change. She closed her eyes. I really did love you once. I know, I said. That's what made it hurt. Marcus called later that night. I heard about Victor's press conference, he said. He blamed her for everything. I know. You okay? I laughed quietly. Define okay. You got your revenge, he said. Shouldn't that feel good? It doesn't, I said. Then maybe it's time you stop. Maybe, he sighed. Don't turn into what she was. Already working on that, I said. After he hung up, I sat alone listening to the rain beat against the windows. Lena was still there, sitting on the couch, head bowed. What now? She asked quietly. Now? I said. You leave, she looked up. And you? I rebuild. Again, she stood, trembling. You're colder than Victor. No, I said. Just smarter. She walked to the door, hesitating once before whispering, I hope someday you feel again. The door closed softly behind her. I sat there for a long time, staring at the reflection of the city lights in my glass. For years, I dreamed of this moment, her downfall, my triumph. But in the silence that followed, it didn't sound like victory, it sounded like emptiness, and maybe that was my karma too. They say revenge tastes sweet. Maybe it does for a second. Then it just tastes like ash. My empire had never been bigger. Investors called me a genius. Articles called me unstoppable. People wanted my time, my advice, my smile. I gave them all three. But when the lights went out, I was still the same man staring at a mirror that didn't recognize me. Reverend Paul showed up unannounced one evening. He stood in my office doorway, eyes kind, hands folded. I didn't expect you, I said. You never do, he replied. I gestured to the couch. Want a drink? He smiled faintly. I'll take coffee, black. I poured him some, then sat across from him. He studied me. You look tired. I'm not, I said automatically. He tilted his head. You are. Just not from lack of sleep, I sighed. You came here to psychoanalyze me? I came here because your secretary said you haven't been home in 3 days. I live here now, I said. In a glass tower. It's easier to see the city from up here. He nodded. Easier to avoid the people in it, too. I leaned back. I did what I had to do. Did you? He asked quietly. Yes. He sipped his coffee. And did it help? I looked away. Victor's finished. Lena's gone. My company's untouchable. That wasn't my question. I rubbed my face. I thought it would feel better, he set his cup down. You burned the bridge and stood waiting for the smoke to look like peace. I looked at him sharply. You always talk in riddles. Only when the truth's too heavy to lift directly. I laughed softly. You think I regret it? He smiled sadly. No, I think you're finally realizing revenge doesn't heal. It just keeps you busy until you collapse. I didn't answer. Ethan, he said gently, you built everything again, but you built it from ashes. That kind of foundation doesn't hold forever. After he left, I sat staring at the skyline until the glass in front of me blurred with reflection. My reflection. Same suit, same posture, different man. I thought of Lena's face that night, broken, pleading, hollow. I thought of Clara walking away. Every move I made had been about hurting someone who'd already destroyed herself. I was still fighting a ghost. 2 days later, I drove out of the city. Hannah's house sat at the edge of the suburbs, warm lights glowing through the windows. She opened the door before I knocked. You look human again, she said. Don't start. She smiled faintly. I'm your sister. It's my job, I followed her inside. The smell of coffee hit me again, softer this time. Sit, she said, motioning to the kitchen table. You look like you haven't eaten in days. Food's overrated, I muttered. She set a plate in front of me anyway. Eat, I did, quietly. After a while, she sat across from me. So you did it? Yeah. She's finished? Completely. And you? What about me? Are you finished too? I met her eyes. You sound like Reverend Paul. Good, she said. He's smarter than you. I smiled faintly. You always had faith in him. I have faith in you, she said. Just not in what you've become. That's fair. She folded her arms. You thought revenge would fix you. I thought it would make me free, I said. Did it? No, she nodded, calm and knowing. Then maybe forgiveness will. I laughed bitterly. Forgive her? After everything? Not for her, she said softly. For you. I looked at the floor. You sound just like him. Maybe that's why it's the truth. I ran a hand through my hair. What if I can't? Then start by not hating her. I don't hate her anymore, I said. I just don't feel anything. That's a start, she said. That night, after Hannah went to bed, I sat by her window. The world outside was quiet. No headlines, no deals, no noise. I opened my laptop and started typing. Not a report. Not a press release. A letter. Lena, I don't know where you are. I'm not sure it matters. We've both done enough damage to last a lifetime. You wanted an apology once, but I never gave you one. You won't find it here either. I don't owe you forgiveness, and you don't owe me guilt. We were fire. Beautiful, destructive, inevitable. But fire doesn't keep burning forever. It turns everything into ash. You don't owe me anything. And I don't owe you hate. I hope you find peace wherever it is you ran to. I'm still looking for mine. Ethan, I read it twice, then printed it. No address. Just folded it neatly and left it on the desk beside Hannah's sleeping cat. Maybe it would never be sent. Maybe it didn't need to be. The next morning, Hannah found me outside watching the sunrise. You're leaving? She asked. For a while. Where to? Somewhere quiet. She handed me a thermos of coffee. You're still the same stubborn idiot. I smiled. Maybe, but at least I'm trying. She looked at me carefully. You know, Mom used to say forgiveness isn't about saying it's okay. It's about saying, I won't let it hurt me anymore. She was right, I said quietly. I just learned too late. Better late than never, she said. I nodded, turning toward my car. Tell Reverend Paul he was right, too, she grinned. He'll love that, I bet. As I started the engine, Hannah leaned into the window. You're really going to forgive her? I already did, I said. Just not for her sake. She smiled, proud but sad. Then maybe now you'll finally live again. I drove off. The city skyline slowly appearing through the morning haze. The same skyline that used to look like a cage. Now it just looked like glass. And I was done cutting myself on it. It's strange how silence feels different when it's not empty. Months passed after I left the city. I spent time in small towns, learning how to breathe again. No headlines, no noise. Just air that didn't taste like ambition. When I returned, I didn't go to my office. I went to a small corner shop on 5th Street, Hale Design Studio. Her name was still on the door. Clara. I stood outside for a minute before walking in. The smell of fresh paint and coffee hit me, the kind of place where creation felt safe. She looked up from her desk, surprised. Ethan? I smiled slightly. Hey! Her expression softened, but her voice stayed guarded. You look alive. Working on it. What are you doing here? I wanted to see how you were doing. She crossed her arms. It's been 6 months. I counted, I said quietly. Her eyes flickered. You shouldn't have. Old habits, I said. I used to count the days between deals. Now I count the ones I don't ruin. That made her laugh, the first sound that didn't sting. We sat across from each other at her small desk. Papers, sketches, color swatches, her world. You started your own firm, I said. Had to, she said. Working under someone else didn't feel right anymore. I get that. She looked up. You always did, I hesitated. I came to apologize, she raised an eyebrow. For what? Burning down your enemies or yourself? Both, I said. She smiled sadly. That's a lot to apologize for. I'm good at multitasking. Her tone softened. What changed? I got tired of winning. She studied me quietly. You really mean that? Yeah, I spent years fighting ghosts. Turns out they're better at surviving than I am. She exhaled slowly. You don't look like the man I left. I'm not. Good, she said. That one scared me. I scared me too. Her assistant, Nora, came in holding blueprints. Sorry, Clara, the client from Ridgeview's on the line. She froze when she saw me. Oh, you're that Ethan, I grinned. I hope that's a good thing, Nora smiled nervously. Depends on who's asking, Clara rolled her eyes. Go take the call. When Nora left, I chuckled. You've built a loyal team. Trying to, she said. People don't stay long when they're afraid of mistakes. Then you'll do fine, I said. You never made anyone feel small. She looked at me for a long moment. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. It's also the truest. A man entered carrying coffee cups. David, her operations partner. Clara got your usual. And, he noticed me pausing. Wait, aren't you? Yes, Clara interrupted quickly. This is Ethan. David nodded politely but cautiously. Right, the Ethan, I smiled. You make it sound like a warning label, he smirked. Clara's told us stories. I bet she has. She left out the good parts, he said. Don't encourage him, Clara said, hiding a smile. When David left, I said, he seems solid. He is, she said. He believes in second chances. Then he's rare, I said quietly. So are you, she said, then added softly. Sometimes for the right reasons. We talked for an hour about nothing and everything. Design trends, coffee brands, her plans for expansion. She told me she wanted to open a branch in Portland but needed investors. I looked around at the studio. Simple, passionate, hers. I could help, I said. She froze. With money? With connections, I said quickly. And advice. No strings. You sure? I don't want to own anything, I said. I just want to help you build it right. Her expression softened. Why? Because you're building the kind of thing I forgot how to. She stared at me, eyes glimmering. You really mean that? I do. Later, as she walked me out, the streetlights flickered on. The world outside looked softer somehow. You know, she said, you don't have to fix everything to be forgiven. I'm not looking for forgiveness, I said. What then? Peace, she smiled faintly. That's harder. I know, I said. But at least I'm trying, she nodded. I can see that. We stood in silence for a moment before she said, You used to talk like every moment was a battle. It was, I said. And now? Now I just want quiet, she smiled. Then you're welcome here. I visited again a week later, then again after that. There were no grand gestures, just small moments. Coffee on her balcony. Late-night brainstorming sessions that turned into laughter. One evening, as we worked through a proposal, she said softly, You know what's funny? What? You used to think love was about possession, about control, and now? Now you treat it like peace. I looked at her. Because that's what it's supposed to be. She smiled. Took you long enough to learn? Guess I needed the wrong kind of love to recognize the right one. She nodded. Then maybe that's not failure. Maybe it's tuition, I said. She laughed. You're still poetic when you're not trying. Don't tell anyone, I said. Weeks later, I helped her finalize the expansion deal. I didn't sit at the head of the table this time. I sat beside her. After the signing, she turned to me. Feels strange, she said. Success without chaos. Maybe that's real success, I said. She smiled. You sound like Reverend Paul. He'd be proud, I said. I finally stopped burning bridges. She tilted her head. So what now? Now, I said, we build something that lasts. Together? If you'll have me, she didn't hesitate. Always. That night, as I walked home, the city lights reflected off the wet pavement, gold, calm and alive. For the first time in years, the world didn't feel like glass. It felt like sunlight, and maybe, finally, I'd learned how to stand in it. The building looked smaller than I remembered. Funny how places shrink when you stop worshiping them. It used to be the heartbeat of my life. Glass walls, bright lights, voices shouting numbers that felt like love. Now it was a public art space. Kids laughed where my old office once stood. Paintings hung where deals used to happen. I stood at the entrance, hands in my pockets, breathing in the dust of what used to be ambition. Clara looked at me. You sure you want to do this? Just a look, I said. No ghosts left to haunt, she smiled faintly. You always say that. This time, I said, I mean it. We walked through the main hall. It smelled like paint and rain. A charity event was happening, local artists displaying their work. Then I saw her, Lena. She was at a small booth in the corner, arranging paintings. Her hair had streaks of silver now. Her clothes were simple, linen, not luxury. She looked peaceful in a way I'd never seen before. Clara followed my gaze. That's her, isn't it? Yeah. Are you going to talk to her? I shook my head. No, why not? Because there's nothing left to say. Clara watched her for a moment. She looks different. She is, I said softly. Life taught her the lessons I couldn't. You don't want to make peace? I already have. Clara touched my arm. Still, you could, I smiled faintly. Some peace doesn't need witnesses. Lena turned slightly, speaking to a customer. Her laugh was quieter now, real. The last time I'd heard it, it had been currency. I remembered what Reverend Paul once told me. Peace is the only wealth that doesn't decay. I hadn't understood then. I do now, Clara whispered. She doesn't see you. I know. You okay with that? I hope she never does, she studied me. You mean that? Yeah, I said. Letting go isn't losing. It's leaving space for better things to stay. Clara smiled. Like me? Exactly like you, she laughed softly. You've gotten good at this, the wise, calm thing. I grinned. Don't ruin it. It took me years to sound like I know what I'm doing. We walked past the booth quietly. I caught one last glimpse. Lena handing a painting to a child, smiling as if the world had finally stopped asking her to prove herself. I felt no anger. No nostalgia. Just distance. Outside, the air smelled clean. The city had changed, but not as much as I had. Clara slipped her hand into mine. You really built it all from nothing, didn't you? I looked up at the sky. No, I said. I built it from pain. Nothing would have been easier. She squeezed my hand. And now I build from peace. She tilted her head. Sounds quieter. It is, I said. But quiet's the sound of survival. We sat on a bench facing the old entrance. For a while, neither of us spoke. The city hummed softly, no longer a battlefield, just background music. Clara finally said, Do you ever miss it? The chaos, the rush? Sometimes, I admitted. But missing something doesn't mean you want it back, she nodded. You used to live for the fight. I lived to win, I said. Now I live to breathe. That's better, she said. Yeah. I looked at the building again. The walls that once held my anger now held color. Laughter, art. It was poetic, almost cruel, but fitting. She leaned her head on my shoulder. You ever think she'll be okay? She already is, I said. She's alive. That's enough. The sun began to dip behind the skyline, the glass windows catching gold and scattering it everywhere. Clara said softly, You ever regret making her rich? No, I said. I regret thinking wealth was love, she smiled. And now I know better. I turned to her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. I made her rich once, I said quietly. But now I make myself whole. Clara's eyes softened. And what about me? You, I said, make me human again. She smiled, small, steady, true. Then maybe we both got what we needed. As we stood to leave, I took one last look at the building. For years, it had been a symbol of everything I'd lost and everything I'd built again. Now it was just brick and glass, nothing more. The wind brushed past, carrying faint laughter from inside. A sound that used to remind me of her, now just another part of the world I no longer needed to fight. Clara asked, You ready? Yeah, I said. Let's go home. We walked away slowly, hand in hand. Behind us, the sunset turned the glass walls into sheets of gold, like the world was finally giving back everything it had taken. For the first time in years, I didn't see my reflection in the glow. I saw my future, and this time, it wasn't built from fire, it was built from peace.